Hello people, Nico here. Since we're moving forward with a brand new direction on the channel, I wanted to start this series where I share with you guys some personal stories. I will of course omit any names, and I'm gonna omit some of the details that happen in those stories so that the people involved will not get identified, and I personally do not get identified. So the subject matter for today's stories are going to be fake pregnancies. I'm going to mention two specific stories, and these stories happen twice with, I would say, 12 months apart from each other. They're not the only fake pregnancy stories that I've had in my life, but they are the only two fake pregnancy stories that I have had since I've been red pill. The earliest story goes back, I would say, 2 years, and that's when I first came in contact with the red pill and the MGTOW content and the MGTOW sphere, and with Rollo Tomasi's blog in specific. Then I was seeing this particular person who happened to also have a daughter. So I've always had in the back of my mind that she was perhaps looking for something more serious. That person would come to my place as a booty call, but she would always make her feelings known that she wanted something more. And I stopped every single situation and every single advance that she ever made. And I have never gone or met her daughter because I was simply not interested in that kind of interaction and that kind of relationship at that point in my life. And I will probably never be interested in that kind of relationship. Now, that particular person, because I've stopped having any contact with her over a period of a month, especially when she went away on some holidays. When she came back, she mentioned to me that she could be pregnant and that she had 2 positive pregnancy tests. Now, in the period that this woman went away and the period before that, I was practicing more or less safe sex with this woman, and I was using my own contraception and condoms. Even in the situations where I was not practicing safe sex, I was using, let's say, the gastrointestinal tract in order to release my sperm. Therefore, I was pretty sure that this woman was not pregnant, and I was always nearby when she was around and whatever she was doing whenever I, ejaculated. In this situation, when she told me that she was pregnant, I specifically told her the same thing that I said in the second story, that the gastrointestinal tract and the reproductive system are not connected, and there is no way that she was indeed pregnant. Now, this specific woman was adamant that she was indeed pregnant, and when I made 100% clear that I'm not interested in that and I will not be changing the way that I'm going to behave, then the baby magically disappeared, and she said that she had a miscarriage. Now, this is story number 1. Story number 2 is slightly more recent, and it happened over the past 6 months, maybe 7 months or so. And this woman was a woman that I was seeing. She was quite fit. I could see that she was insane because she was having her moments where she was misbehaving. But, I was enjoying the sex with her, and I made quite clear from the beginning that that's all this is, and if she's not happy with it, then she can go and find someone else. She stuck around, and I had no problem with that because the sex was just good, right? When this woman tried to manipulate me and bring me back in her life, she, over a period of a month, she lied to me about a number of things, about 3 of her relatives dying, about one of her close friends dying, and also about getting pregnant. Now, as you can tell, I could see very easily that she was lying and that she was trying to manipulate me into a situation where I commit to her or where I have unprotected sex when she can actually get pregnant. And I was not down with that. In that situation, I made abundantly clear to this woman, and I actually recorded the whole conversation where I told her that I'm not planning to be a father, I don't want to be a father. Whether she has a child or not, that's indeed irrelevant to me, because I have no interest in being committed to her, and I have no interest in being a father to a child if she indeed has a child. When I made that abundantly clear, and I was 100% clear-cut that there is no further interaction that can come from me, then she said that she went and had an abortion or a miscarriage. I don't know, the lies kept changing from time to time. In both the stories, I was 100% sure that the women were not pregnant. Though there was a point where I was worried that they were indeed pregnant from someone else, I was sure that I was not the father. And I was not specifically worried about what might happen to me if those women were indeed pregnant, because I was certain that I was not the father. However, that's one of the risks that people can face when they engage with women. And when women feel like they have no control over their man, then they might resort to using this kind of shit test or this kind of manipulation tactics in order to bring the man closer to them. Is there a way that a man can avoid this kind of things? The main way that a person can avoid this risk 100% is that he should not interact with women at all. This is the 100% fail-safe way of actually avoiding this kind of risk. And people can choose, and people do choose to do actually just that. Now, I'm not down with that because I do engage with women and I do enjoy engaging with them from time to time. Therefore, that's not something that I personally choose to do. The other way that you can ensure that a woman does not get pregnant is that you can use methods of contraception. Now, there are her methods and your methods. If you're engaging in casual relationships, as I was, then you need to use your methods of contraception, like condoms, and there is nothing else that you can do. But, in situations where you might not be using a condom, definitely do not approach a vagina with it. Although, if you are not to ejaculate inside, the risk of actually her getting pregnant is quite minuscule. However, there is a risk there. But the only method for contraception, as we all know, for men is just condoms. So I would say that if you're engaging in casual sex, that is the only way to prevent a pregnancy. There are also her methods of contraception, and women do say that they use methods of contraception. And I have slept with women when they use their methods of contraception. Now, when I say that, people freak out because they think I'm mentioning the pill that women use and stuff like that. However, what I'm actually referring to is Mirena coils, the normal coil that women use, implants, and things that I can actually feel and see. The implant is something that you can feel on the inside of the arm of a woman. The coils, as they are inserted, you can actually feel them inside with your penis. Therefore, they're actually placed there and they're fully active. Therefore, that is something that you might be willing to take in terms of risk. Although if you are engaging in casual sex with this woman, I would advise that a condom must be worn at all times, and no one should believe a woman that says she's simply on the pill or that she's using contraception. And that should be clear for everyone. One of the other methods that people can use, people have used vasectomies in the past, and they're very good and they're very effective, and people can do that if they're willing to have an operation in order to have safe sex. I'm personally not willing to do that. I don't want to do that right now. I have made videos as to why I don't want to do that in the past, and I really don't want to do it at the moment. My opinion on the matter has not drastically changed. Now, these things prevent pregnancy. These three things that I've mentioned before, avoiding women, no using any contraception, and just having a vasectomy prevents pregnancy from actually occurring. That does not prevent false pregnancies from occurring. However, a man that knows that he is using the contraception properly, then he must be sure that he hasn't gotten a woman pregnant. If fake pregnancies do arise, then I simply call it for what it is, a shit test, right? Now, if a woman is pregnant from another man and then she uses you as that man that has produced a child, then it will need to be a period of waiting until that woman eventually has the child and she has it tested. I would say that avoiding women who are at that point in their lives might be, a way that you can do just that. Women in their late 20s or early 30s that might want to get pregnant, women from poor backgrounds or women of low social class, women who don't have career aspirations, etc., might be one way of doing that. But that does not exclude women taking that risk or, using the fake pregnancy in order to manipulate you into committing to them. And I will say it right now, there is no foolproof way of doing that. And there are other risks that are involved with it, such as false rape allegations, etc., that can be involved with any woman that you have sex with. But that is not something that I can give any advice to, as I personally do not believe there is anything that you can do when it comes to that. The risk of that, however, is low, but I'm not going to say that it is absolutely zero, because it isn't, and people do get accused of rape all the time and falsely at that. Therefore, you need to be careful and you need to do some character assessment and take the risk if you're willing to do that. If you're not, simply avoid women altogether. That's all I had to say. Thank you very much for listening.